that is one of the biggest things, is just because Steve is such a stand-up man and business owner who stands behind product and project completely. And that is, sadly, like you were saying, very rare today, to find people that aren't in for the quick buck and out of here. Paid in full, goodbye, see ya.
Hello, Tom LaVecchia here with the latest edition of the New Theory Podcast. I have a return guest, Steve, a.k.a. Griggsy of Steve Griggs Design, and the very lovely Leslie. We're going to talk about when stuff goes sideways, how do you maintain a good relationship with your contractor and actually come out on the other side successful. So Leslie, welcome to the New Theory Podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. Thank you very much.
So
glad to be here.
She's got an interesting story. So she put together a vision for her backyard, a high-end backyard, and hired a landscape architect. And not Steve, somebody else. We'll call him Charlie for now. So, walk us through that, because I want to also unpack the red flags, and Steve will jump in as necessary, because we really want you to learn how to manage your contractors. And again, when things go bad, how to handle it. So first, let's start off. What happened with your first architect?
Well, we decided that we were going to stay in our house. We weren't going to move, and we were going to recreate the backyard so that we could live and entertain in it for as long as we're around for.
Yes.
And spoke to a friend who has a lovely backyard, got a referral, and guy came over, sat down, talked. 6 months later, we're still talking, and finally gives me a design. And I looked at the design and said, that's not what we discussed all along, or what our vision was for this. And then I said, okay, just for ha-has, how much is this going to cost? And he said, gave me a figure that was $100,000 more.
Ouch.
Than what we had been talking about. So fast forward now, we say goodbye to this guy, and I told my friend, thank you, but what he did for you, he was just, probably wasn't really that interested in our project very well.
Yeah.
So anyway, spoke to another friend, and he said, well, this guy Steve has done great work for our various family members. And I said, let me give him a call.
Nice. And
called up, came by the house, and we hit it off right away.
Nice.
Just laid back, easy, heard what we had to say, cracked some jokes about what I had to say, and then talked about his vision and my vision and what we could do together.
Okay. I want to ask Steve. So one of the things I want to do today is kind of pick up on red flags, or at least when you're uncomfortable, how to handle it. So Steve, how long should the ideation, planning, design phase take? It's he's saying 6 months.
6 months I can build the house.
Yeah.
30 days.
Okay. So should person watching this who's planning this big project, which is costly, right? Should you have in there, hey, I'm happy for you to do the design, but I need the first deliverable draft within 30 days. Should you memorialize that? How do you handle that?
It depends. When you have to speak with the contractor, you come up with the schedule and you set expectations. It's really it. If he says it's 4 months, it's 4 months.
Yeah.
But at least if she doesn't know, it's just basically setting expectations for the next deliverable. That's all.
Did he tell you it's going to take 6 months, or he said it's going to take a month and it took 6 months?
Oh, he just kept dragging it out. I'm like, what's happening with it? Well, we're working on it. This excuse, that excuse. Then finally, I even went to their shop and I sat down with one of their draftsmen at the board, and just ridiculous things like, okay, how am I going to get a lawnmower behind this massive pavilion that you've designed here that looks like it belongs at a catering hall and not in my backyard?
Yeah.
And there were just so many incongruencies and everything else like that.
By the way, congruency is my favorite word. Wait, hold on, Steve. I got a important question to you.
He's out, I'm in.
So hold on, we're going to get there. I
Congrats.
want you to throw your colleagues under the bus a little bit and maybe yourself sometimes. What are some of the excuses? So, like, I'll be honest, I work in the digital marketing space. We're a little behind on a project, website build, or whatever that is. One of the key things is to ask them for something that's going to take a while to get, just to buy some time. Because we're probably working on something else, right? This is truth, right? What are some excuses that guys give or
Tom,
they give?
Tom, I've been doing this 40 years.
Well, I want to hear what are some of the bullshit excuses people give.
That day when they said this room was booked double, whatever, it's bullshit. Somebody dropped the ball, right? I don't buy it. Somebody dropped the ball. It's just like it doesn't compute.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the excuses. We're working on it.
Yeah.
I need. You can just smell them a mile away.
Yeah.
You can't be that naive.
Now, can she ask for, or can somebody ask for? Because I'm just thinking how I am, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like one time
You're
we
a
were,
homeowner.
yeah. Like, can I see a draft? Hey, what can I see your progress? Is that appropriate to ask? If it's not, hey, I know you're busy. I know you're working on it. Can I see what you worked on so far?
Some people, some designers don't like to show. It's
Oh,
it's
okay.
not, just set the expectation.
Got it.
If it's 4 months, okay, I won't bother you till 4 months in one day. If
Got
you
it.
tell me 3 weeks it's going to be ready, and I'm going on 6 weeks, and now it's 10 weeks, it's red flags.
So what vibe did you get? Did you get maybe he was too busy? He maybe wasn't as interested in your project? Like, what vibe did you get?
All of the above.
That's crazy at that
As a-
level.
All of the above.
So he's out, I'm in, and now we roll.
All right. So I have a question to you.
Go ahead.
Because you already lost time,
Oh, yeah.
which is more important than money, right?
Well,
But then, well, that's true. That's true. That's true. All
Unless you're
depends.
unless you're bowling like you, Tom. Nah, maybe not.
I'm so poor, I can't pay attention. So, all right. So you inherit her. She's obviously not happy, right, in general. And she incurred some costs and time. Were you like, hey, listen, I'm happy to hire you, but I need you to work with me on a break, or I need you to do this and this, almost like punish him for the other guy's F up. Does
no,
make
that
sense?
I wouldn't do
Okay.
because
Which 9 out of 10 people do, right, Steve? Like when they get screwed by somebody else, they call you up and like, well, I already got beat for $100,000. You got to give me a good
He was
price.
very cool about it.
Okay. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, it was.
yeah, no, I owned my own business. I was in design and floor
So you
covering.
knew,
So
okay.
I know what it's like to be on the other end of that. And you know what? You start off on the right foot. If you start off with an attitude, who wants to work with you then?
How did the first how did the first conversation go?
With me,
You and her?
Easy. Very easy.
I want to get into like working with. That's one of the things I look for when I work with a client. We have to have the vibe.
Yeah.
Like it's not worth it for me to like get. You can just sense it. You feel it. Like
So I call it an account because we have accountants, right? I call it account chemistry. So what'll happen is somebody will come to us and say, hey, I need a website, right? And I want you to market it. I'll sign a 5-year contract. We're all gonna be rich. Whoa. Let's just build you a website. See what happens over 6 weeks, right? I may not like you. You may not like me. We're going to deliver you a good product, but let's see if we have account chemistry. So same in your business. There needs to be some chemistry with the client. Is that fair?
yeah.
Vibe, chemistry, whatever you want to describe it.
Yeah, I've been doing this too long. I'm not gonna like.
Yeah, but you also created the idea board.
That's
Which-
where I want to get into. Let's talk
Which
about
the
the
other
ideation.
guy, the other
design.
guy did not do that.
Yeah, let's get into the design.
Yeah.
The vision.
We talked, and he's like, okay, let me put together some idea boards. And they were great. They were elements of, let's say, the hot tub, because we have a hot tub in the backyard. And we wanted this pergola attached to the house. And then, but how do we design that? What do we do? And so Steve, and then all the landscaping that goes around everything.
Tom, I sold the emotion.
Idea board.
Fire pit. I have the bar.
Yeah.
There's a giant TV. They love the Yankees. I said, sitting at the bar looking at the Yankees. They hit. You told me on the way here. Me and David cooked out last night. We sat outside. I mean, that's
So, for process purposes, is idea board and mood board the same thing, or idea board is a little different? we call it a mood board in our
I
business.
call it.
Is it the same thing
I call
basically?
it stimulating the emotion. Whatever. Stimulate the emotion board.
So for those watching in business, you sold the sizzle, not just the steak. That's what we say.
Well, you want to sell the emotion. You want to picture when you're designing something.
Yeah.
Even when Leslie had her flooring business, she wanted to visualize the people walking on that floor. I wanted to show her and her husband and her family enjoying that backyard in their space. That's really it.
So you bought it into the design concept. When he first rolled out the original drafts of the design, the final drafts, were you initially aligned with it, or did you have a lot of changes to get to before you started construction?
Not a lot of changes, just overall size of the space.
Huge.
We reconfigured it. Trees. Saving. I wanted my specimen trees saved.
Big trees.
And then pond and waterfall, how to incorporate all these living spaces together, and where you could be sitting at the fire pit looking at the water feature in the back, or turning around and watching the baseball game.
This gonna, and I'm saying this with like 1,000% fullest respect. You know what you're talking about, right? And I'm going to be honest with you, and I want your opinion.
Listen, he knows what he's
Sometimes, like when I work with clients, the ones that super know what they're talking about, generally the biggest pain in the asses, because they want like every little. I'm not saying you. I'm not saying you. What I'm getting at is when you have a client who doesn't know anything at all, you do it and they don't appreciate it, right? Versus the client that knows everything as well as you do. Like, well, you could have did this, you could have did that. Did that happen at all, or was she good on her vision?
She was fine.
Okay, good. I'm just being honest.
And-
She cuts her own plant. Like she trims her own bushes.
Really?
Yeah.
And she has a hedge trimmer. She has a hedge trimmer.
Wow.
Like she likes doing it. That's part of the workout. That's part of the
All
workout.
right. So we got past. Okay, so the ideation's done. The plan's there. When did the first F up happen?
We build. First we build.
Okay.
Yes.
We build. It took a long time. We build. COVID hits. We're building. The stuff's coming over. Like, mind you, this stuff is imported from Turkey.
Okay.
Okay. Just the communication with the vendors, the manufacturers.
Okay. So the important question I want to unpack this a little bit. Who decided the sourcing? So you said, "Hey, I want this." Did you pick Turkey or did she pick Turkey?
It wasn't Turkey. It was the manufacturer of this certain pavilion. Again, not throwing anybody in the bus.
Yeah.
We're not even going to talk about this manufacturer. They were local, so we said, let's use them. They came out to the house.
And they sourced from Turkey.
Whatever. They're whatever.
That's where their factory is.
Oh, got
So
it.
we met them. It was all good.
Okay.
Like, wow, it was great.
Yeah.
And then, customers. It just was
They even did the computer rendering for us.
rendering.
Yeah.
So what happened when it came in? Was the product not good? Like what happened?
First of all, we had to wait forever for the product to come in, courtesy of COVID
Yeah.
and the shipping backups and everything else like that. And then because once it came in, I mean, Steve's guys started in the winter.
Wow.
I mean, they had like a little Quonset hut built with heaters in it so that the guys could be working despite the weather, because he promised that he was going to do everything he could to get that ready for spring.
Listen, this is important because I don't want to gloss over what people take for granted. What I mean is, I have a brother, I have family in construction. I know construction guys and gals that shut down in New Jersey from November to March. Why was it important for you to continue building in the winter? 'Cause that's not a small thing in New Jersey.
Well, because I gave her my word, you have this thing ready for opening day of baseball.
April what, second-ish? All right, so he's building in the winter. He's got the heater, he's got the guys out there. How, like, give me the progression. What happened next?
Basically, the foundation, essentially, everything was ripped out of there. The foundation was set. The kitchen had to be built. All the cinder block for the exact shape of the kitchen. The steel girders that we needed, the beams, had to be set. And all the inspections had to be done also during all this time. So all of that was going
At a
on
time
during the winter.
and let's be honest, at a time during that, the inspector is not coming out there, especially in the winter or during the pandemic. And there was a lot of rules around that and all that kind of stuff. So I have an important question, actually, and I want to ask you first, and Steve, is when I hire somebody and they have a subcontractor, right? I also tend to be involved. I'll tend to know what's going on. I'm okay with them even identifying the subcontractor. But when something goes wrong with the subcontractor, I have the philosophy that it's not my problem. Like, it's your problem, not their problem. Because you're the person. Were you ever on Steve, hey, I love you, but like your subcontractors are causing issues? Or did you have a little grace and navigate along with Steve?
Well, they were Steve's guys that were doing the work. And he never made it where I had to be concerned about it. He just like, I'm on top of it. They're his guys. And it made it very easy to work with Steve for that reason. And his guys listen to him and know what has to be, but they were very responsive to me. If I asked questions or whatever else like that,
So that's important.
Yeah.
Guy, it's not about, so I'm going to go back to Leslie's credit. It's like, it's the way you treat people, man. Like, she came out there with a smile and asked him a question. If she came out with aggressive, trust me when I tell you, they'd be talking behind her back in Spanish, in English, in Polish, whatever. But they respected her. She was always very nice and respectful to them. And they appreciate that. So if you're building a home project, just treat the workers like people.
So I want to ask this question to Steve. So I'm hiring you or anybody for a big project for my backyard, $250,000, $500,000, big project, right? How important is it to ask for how many guys on your team work for you, what contractors you use, how long you've been using them? Should you dive that deep and ask those type of questions? If not, what type of questions should you ask a contractor?
When are you going to be done? How much is it going to cost? That's it.
So don't get involved with specifics.
I just need to know when you're going to be done. How much is it going to cost? You're the guy. Who do I call if there's a problem? That's all I can. Who do I call?
All right. So I'm guessing outside of that, you got the pergola up or whatever, the construction portion up. I'm assuming there were some other problems that arose, correct?
Let's see. Well, most of it was pergola related.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the whole thing was.
We had one drainage issue, and the guys figured it out and took care of it in the kitchen, where it filled up with some water. But he if there was a problem, he was like, okay, I'll take care of it. And I was just like, give me an idea of when the guys will be there. And it was done. I mean, that's what made it so easy to work with him.
Two questions for you, Steve. Number one is advice for the people on the other side, the contractors. What's your philosophy and how do you handle problems? Because it seemed like you handled this pretty well. How do you?
So you have to own it, right? Like, and I promise that it gets much worse. We won't bore the listeners with that, but the problems with Turkey and the stuff coming from Turkey, it was how to go back. It just was just a freaking nightmare. We're still dealing with it, but we still remain close friends. We still keep communication. Keeping the communication is key. And still cracking jokes about the whole thing because we can just make fun of anybody about it.
Yeah. Okay. So
otherwise, we'd be crying. She should be crying.
So you were responsive, which I know you are because you're always available.
I said, I'm the guy. I have your back. Don't worry.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you a very direct question. When should you be fully transparent and when should you not say anything? Because sometimes clients tend to go off the rails.
You don't want to never freak out a client. You say, I got it. I handled it. When the wall fell down in another job, I got it. I'll handle it.
Tell that story because this is a...
The wall fell down. The storm came. The whole 8-foot wall collapsed. All the mud came down, filled up his pool with mud. I said, don't come up to your summer house this weekend. It's been a little accident, but I got it. And he said, okay, 24 hours later, dumped out the water, called the water trucks in, filled it up, solved the problem.
Yeah, he's downplaying it. He literally had water trucks like come in and like it was like almost like a movie.
People hire you for the. They can hire anybody. They hire you to get the job.
All right. So listen, mistakes happen, Steve, right?
Mistakes happen. I mean.
So I'm going to ask you direct questions. Mistakes happen. When do you dig in your pocket and take it on the chin?
Every day.
Hold on.
Every day.
Okay.
I'm still taking it. I got a bill this morning from the guy coming to adjust the pergola. I'm bleeding out. I'm just hemorrhaging. I'm smiling, but every time I got to come, I forgot I don't even look at the books anymore.
Yeah.
It's just been a disaster.
Scary. Okay, so
But the client relationship is more important than the losing the money. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So what Steve is launching a course, and when it comes out, we'll send a link. But one of the things that he talked about in his course is he doesn't do, to my dismay, but he doesn't do Google AdWords. He doesn't do social media. He doesn't do all this stuff. He takes care of his clients, and he might pay for something, and that's his meta ad, right? That's your Google ad. You decided to invest in relationships versus investing in advertising.
Yeah.
Right?
So let me ask you a question, Tom.
Yeah.
If we built this pergola and it went bad, do you think Leslie would be sitting here on your podcast talking about what a great job we've done after all?
Yeah.
Absolutely no. So that's worth much.
Okay. So now, not with Leslie, right? But how much do you take in mistakes, right? And when do you have to pass it through to the client to say, listen, I need a change order, or listen, this happened?
It depends. If they're adding something to the project, making it bigger, if it wasn't any fault of my own, if something that the owner did, we would have a conversation about it.
Yeah.
Right. We'd have a conversation about it. And
and that's where the communication comes in, being nice along the way. Or if he came to you and said, listen, there is this extra incurred expense, it's unavoidable, I'm assuming you at least be open to hearing about it.
Oh, and if I added things, I would expect to pay for it.
Correct.
Which, when it came to landscaping and certain additional lighting and other things, it was my ask. And he said, okay, we can do it. And I said, just tell me what it's going to cost at that point. I don't expect him to, if I add to a project, just eat those extra costs. He's filling my needs that I'm asking for.
God, why can't everybody be like her? All right, so
we're back again to her credit. Like most other clients, it could have got very ugly very fast. The thing's not working. She could have held back. I got paid in full. I'm still paying for it, but it got paid in full. Like, it's still, to this day, we're still having mechanical issue. Like, it's been 5 years, man.
Yeah.
I'm still there. I'm like,
what my question is, in your formula for pricing, right? You don't have to give your specifics, but when you put together pricing with a cost plus or whatever it is, right? Do you build in a little fuckery? Like, oh, you know what? Let me build in 5% on every project. So if 1 out of 5 projects go sideways, I at least shield myself financially so I don't go out of business.
So that goes to the point where, because a lot of homeowners don't know anything about hiring contractors. They get 3 bids, they hire the cheapest guy.
Yeah.
Bad mistake.
Yeah.
You want to hire the guy that's going to come back and have enough money left over that's financially able to come back and fix something. I'm still fixing, Tom.
Yeah.
I'm still fixing over there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you want to not hire the cheapest guy. You want to do it once and do it right and make sure you have a guy that's going to stand behind the job and see it through.
I knew one case where somebody was doing a similar type project, and he asked the contractor for the checking account balance, saving account balance. They wanted to see if they were financially liquid, because they wanted to make sure, if I'm going to invest this kind of money, I'm not saying you should do that, but what I'm getting at is they were very serious, and they wanted to make sure that the person was at least had a viable business. Because you know this, even though somebody pays you, you don't sit there and say, hey, this money's for this project. No, you spend it on whatever bills come in. You have to make sure that he's financially secure. So Steve gave you great customer service. He gave you you had a change order. He accommodated, and we'll show it on Manny will show it on the screen. Give us kind of when did the vision started coming together, and when did the magic start to happen?
The magic started to happen the minute the old decking and everything was removed from the house and you saw the blank slate.
Yeah.
And then at that point, it was exciting. You see the steel coming in and they're mounting it and you're like, oh my God, this thing's going to be ginormous. And it was, I think, watching them build it during the winter, seeing all the effort that went into it, added more to it than in the springtime. I mean, I was focused on it and seeing what these guys were doing. And it moved very quickly at a very good pace throughout everything until the product was stuck in Turkey for a little while. And then we had problems with the repair crew who had to come in. Well, what about that?
Manufacturer, yeah, it's just
That was part of the disaster because they sold. They said you would have no problem doing the installation, and then Steve's guy said, "Okay." They go to do it, and they were having some difficulty, and the manufacturer came in then, and they managed to F it up incredibly. So the manufacturer's crew, we had to find a replacement for them.
Yeah, how do you navigate that? Because you're responsible at the end of the day for their work, but at the same token, you can't do everything. Like, how do you...
listen. She wrote me the check. My name is on the project.
Your name's on the check.
Your job.
You listening, Brian?
Like right? Like Leslie's in business. She knows. Steve, I love you, but your guys, we paid you. You know. So technically, but the warranty issue with the product, I do have a warranty for the product itself, but they don't include the installation, so we're paying for the installation. They, in all fairness to them, they did come back at the end and repair some of the stuff, which was
okay. Let's talk warranty. Give you 300 grand. You build me a beautiful backyard. What's typically covered and how long, and what's definitely not covered?
It depends on what it is, Tom.
That's what I'm asking. I want to know.
It depends on what it is. If it's planned, it depends on what it is. I like to go with the client marketing relationship theory. I will stand behind it as long as forever.
What about if I drop 20 grand in plants and half of them die?
They do. It happens all the time.
So you'll replace them?
The planting is a little iffy because it's so many other factors.
Okay.
Water, not enough water, too much. Deer eat them. I mean, it becomes, you can really get hurt with the planting. But if it's a smaller plant, not a problem.
And you guys are good. So
I replaced the plants already.
Yeah.
Little things.
You guys are good.
Up about a little plant on a rock. By the way, Tom, I got a phone call. The $4 plant on a rock I replaced.
I love it. I love it.
She does it with a smile.
Sounds like my wife.
But I'm saying is, she does it with a. You can't get mad.
All right. So I got to ask this because we're all on good footing. Is what was your biggest disagreement and how did you guys reconcile it? Like your biggest, almost like we super disagreed on this, and how did you reconcile it?
Waiting for him to push the manufacturer on certain things. It was, and I was like, you know what? I'm really patient, but I'm getting to that point now where
it was a point where it was like,
which you seem to have a high threshold to begin with. Once you get there, it's probably
my nickname's the Wolverine. Serious, like
that's what he
good until I go crazy, and now I'm gonna just start tearing apart meat and flesh.
All right, so listen, it all sounds good, right? Hey, you get the manufacturer, and you're on the manufacturer, and they're not responding, and there's nobody more of a pain in the ass than them. If you want something done, it gets done. But what if it's just not getting done?
It wasn't. It's. I don't want to bore anybody.
Yeah.
It just was like for months going on. It was just tearful. A few weeks go by, get another email from Leslie. Hey, Steve, haven't.
I know,
it
so
just was.
Okay,
But
so
she stayed on top of it. But she was always very pleasant.
we know you're honest, and we're all good. We're all good here. We're all friends here. Was there ever a part of you that was like, "F this, let me walk away"?
I wanted to cry.
Did you ever think of walking away? Be honest.
Never.
Why?
It's not what I'm about.
he's not.
What else am I gonna? That's the truth. What am I gonna do?
And that's what sets
I would
him.
have loved to just made it disappear because it was just really.
But how many people? So this I think is going to do well because how many people? I work in this marketing space, and everybody always brings their great projects. Nobody brings the disasters to the
That's what I
table.
want to have here. Everybody brings a great project.
Yeah.
Let's talk about projects that don't go bad. How you can still maintain that's the biggest key here. Is like things are going to go wrong. Instead of calling your attorney, that's why Leslie's here to educate people on how you can work through difficult. Nobody wins if you bring in the attorney. Great, we hire an attorney. I'm 10, 20 grand out. She's 10, 20 grand out.
No
She
one.
still doesn't have a pergola. Like what's the same?
and there's no guarantee that when you do that, you're even going to get, and you win a lawsuit if you go to that point, that you're even going to get the
It
benefit
could be an
of
LLC.
it.
You could just collapse it and move on to the
Yeah.
next. What about, okay, so what's some advice that somebody watching this who's maybe in the throes of some challenges with the contractor, but it's not contentious yet. So you want to be like Leslie. What advice do you have for that person to try to keep it above board and positive?
You have to talk. You have to keep communication open. You've got to listen. Too many people just want to hear what they want to hear and aren't willing to listen to the reality of the situation and what someone's trying to do, assuming their contractor is legit and has their best interest at hand. If the contractor doesn't have your best interest at hand, that's going to be a tough go.
Okay, you didn't have to with Steve, but when should Wolverine come out?
Oh, well, she kind of came out close a couple of times. People are going to cut from the manufacturer's end of it. They're going to come. They're going to take care of it. And I finally said, I told him I'm nearing my breaking point, and he would then take my emails and then forward it to the manufacturer saying,
Got to do something here.
Yeah, we have to.
Guys, I said it, but I didn't say, guys, you know where we're going with this, right?
Yeah.
The next step has to be, we don't want to go there. I never mentioned the word, but
yeah.
the writing was on the wall pretty much. Because she tried we've exercised every other avenue to try to make it, but it was like.
Well, to talk about a little bit about what could have happened, and this is what I hate, right? Like, I had a legal situation once. I got dinged in the 5 figures. Everybody talks tough, but when it comes to litigation, it's not cheap. It's ugly. It's expensive. Nobody gets rich but the lawyers. Mm-hmm. And like you said, there's no guarantee in the outcome. And even if you do win, people find creative ways to hide it, right? So it's good that you actually and amicably resolve the situation. Mm-hmm. And now you made a friend.
Oh, yeah. But he didn't show up at the crawfish boil.
Did it rain this year?
No, we didn't do it this year. That was last year.
Let's talk about the fun stuff. What are some of the fun things you were able to do in that backyard?
Oh my gosh, parties, lots of parties. We have a big group of friends, nice. And the crawfish boil is an annual event. We fly in crawfish from New Orleans, wow. And it rotates.
You have a little jambalaya?
Oh yeah, there's all the good stuff, nice. And everybody just participates, nice. And you have the big cauldrons in the backyard making all the batches, and it's a fun time. It's about 50, 60 people.
Wow.
And that was last May we did that, but we've had lots of parties and steak nights and wine nights, and my kids are adults.
Yeah.
But when they're home, they've had their friends over.
Nice.
Because again, he's created an outdoor living space. So we have outdoor sofas that sit around a fire pit, and you've got the TV. So you want to be out there. And we're out there even if it's snowing out, because the roof is closed. We have heaters in. So, I mean, unless it's, bitter cold, we're loving this all year
I think,
round.
and Steve talked a little bit about the vision and some of the emotion, but when you kind of unpack that a little bit, what it comes down to, and we talked about this a little more than adult children, but Steve always talks about you want to be the house, right? Mm-hmm. That the kids come over, that you're the cool house, they go in the backyard, they jump off the jump rock, they jump in the nice pool, maybe have a hot tub, maybe have outdoor swings and stuff. Because you get to really spend time with your kids and watch them grow, mm-hmm. which as parents, I think is the most important thing we can do, right? But I like the fact that your adult children come back to the backyard as well. That's pretty cool.
They love it. I mean, we were away one weekend, and all of a sudden the Ring doorbell goes off, and I was like, who's in the backyard? And I'm looking at it, and my son lives in Hoboken, and he's like, I had nothing better to do. And there's his face That's beaming awesome. In the ring, saying, I just figured I'd come home and hang That's out. Awesome. And
they always come home.
So I as a marketer, I want to ask this question. When, because it is an expense, it's a large expense, respectfully. What does it compete with? Does it compete with a bigger or smaller backyard? Does it compete with maybe that trip around the world? Does it compete with a safari? Does it compete with maybe a second home? When you make that allocation for your budget, what did it compete with? If I'm asking that correctly.
It didn't compete with anything because that was
That's what you
the
wanted.
project for that. And we knew that another couple of years down the road, we can do all the traveling we want, but we come home to our oasis.
Micro resort. I like it. Let's talk logistics. We're in New Jersey, right?
Yeah.
Bergen County. What does it do to the value of the home?
Ooh, bumps it up tremendously. Because it's an outdoor living space. When people come into our backyard, they're just like, wow, oh my goodness, it's beautiful, it's spacious. Like I said, we have heaters built into the roof by the kitchen area, so you can
could dine outside
Yeah.
in the winter.
It's beautiful. And
Anything after it was built, you added on, or you regretted that you didn't do? Because it looked like you got everything. Or was it one or two
well,
things
we
like-
didn't want a pool.
This
did
is
not.
without a pool.
This is without a pool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it says fish pond. It's
Ah, okay. You have a hot tub?
Yes.
Oh, you think you said earlier, yeah.
Yep. So we have
a cool little backyard. Like it's nice. Like
And I mean, and he built boulders all around the hot tub, so it's got a
nice.
very cool aesthetic to it.
you'll see it in the post, right?
Yeah, there you go. Hey, Manny, this is your cue to cue it up. we're gonna guide Manny through. All right, I love all of this. This is just random, but I interviewed the CEO for Hard Rock,
Okay.
and obviously successful guy, $1 billion casino, the whole thing. And I don't think he was full of crap when he was saying this. He's like, I'm like, what's your business advice? Like, you're a successful guy. I do podcasts selfishly so I could learn from people like you guys to live my life. And he just said, be kind. That's it. He just said, be kind to people. Be empathetic. Not saying you got to agree with them all the time. You're not going to be sympathetic all the time. But be empathetic and be kind. Right? Now, if they want to be jerks, they can. But be kind. And that's kind of what I extrapolated from this conversation.
Definitely. I mean, being nasty isn't going to get you anything. You get more with sugar and honey than you do with the other.
Have you referred Steve to anybody yet?
I did. They were smaller jobs, though,
Yeah.
at that point. But,
It
I
goes into
would.
the client marketing.
Yeah.
So if I never came back, you think you get referrals?
Yeah.
You don't do it for the referrals. You do it because you felt responsible for her project. I don't know. It's like the right thing to do.
Yeah.
I mean, good news and everything travels much.
How scary is it that we got to kind of celebrate the right thing to do, right? Like we're going to do this and people are like, oh my God, like they're going to think about their own experiences that are disasters, right? But if you guys operated like adults, like you guys did,
That was
there wouldn't be
the reason
disasters.
why I wanted Leslie to come to show how there is another way. It would be kind of boring when we came here.
Yeah.
I sued her, she sued me.
Yeah.
Here we are. What are we going to talk about for an hour, right?
Yeah.
And that is one of the biggest things is just because Steve is such a stand-up man and business owner who stands behind product and project completely. And that is sadly, like you were saying, very rare today to find people that aren't in for the quick buck and out of here. Paid in full, goodbye, see ya.
Yeah, I heard expression once, good business makes good business. So even if like you may lose money on a project because you did good business along the way, you can kind of go along and take those hits. So we're going to conclude. What other kind of final advice or final words you want to give the person watching who's on the giving side of the project, who's going to roll out a project, maybe a mid-project? What's your final word of advice?
Care about your client, because other than just making that quick buck, you can make a friend. Free advertising is the best thing.
Yeah.
And it builds your reputation in the community because you can pay for all that advertising, but word of mouth and good word of mouth is invaluable.
Well,
Boom. Mic drop. That's it.
That's
I got
it.
Nothing to say.
this was a fun one. I appreciate you coming down.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Steve, I think you might be the number one recurring guest.
I'm here a lot. I keep writing you checks.
Just as long as
Brian shows
Brian
up.
doesn't double book
Brian
us.
shows up. I'm good. Like from
Oh.
now on, I need to have Brian in here.
That's it.
I need Brian. All right.
We're
I feel warm and fuzzy when I know Brian's here because you make me nervous. when
Steve's
I
gonna like Brian until he sees a bill. So listen, I just kidding. I appreciate you guys coming on. Check out Steve at Steve Griggs Design on Instagram. He's got a great Instagram account. SteveGriggsDesign.com. We'll put some links below. You're not promoting anything, I hope, right? Or you didn't want to plug anything while you're here? You got a book or
No.
musical or anything you want to? Never know. Never know these days, right? Anyway, see you next time on the show. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.